Be here today. First, this is my first LinkedIn Live. I just got my permissions, and it was down to you,
Yay.
Michelle. I'm here today with Michelle J. Raymond, and she is with the Good Trading Co.
That's
and
right.
all about LinkedIn business pages. And the
That's
reason,
true.
yes. So the reason that we're even here today is because Michelle said to me, get in there, apply for your LinkedIn Live permissions. It's happening really fast. And oh my God, you were right. It happened within 24 hours.
It was that fast. That's
It was
awesome
that
because
fast.
all you need, and the application process, what, 30 seconds? Grab your URL, put it in the link, good to go. 24 hours later, we're going live. Here we are. How amazing.
Yes. And it all got started because Michelle and I put together the She's All That podcast episode all about LinkedIn business pages. And this is just out this week. And the really weird thing about this is that since we recorded this on July 1st, 18 million more people have actually come on board and are now on LinkedIn. Michelle, what's going on with that?
We're up to 774 plus million members worldwide. It is just crazy. LinkedIn has grown so much in the last 18 months, maybe caused by the pandemic. Obviously the way that the world works now has actually changed. So, and we've seen like an influx of people coming onto the platform as well as businesses. So those numbers are just representing what's been going on for quite a while now. So I've gone pretty hard out on company pages because this is where everyone is. And as I said in the podcast, go fishing where the fish are. They're here. We know your ideal client is here. If they're another business or a professional buyer, they're here, people. That's why I'm saying get on board.
Yeah. And the information that you shared with me, I mean, I think we kept it till about 45 minutes when we were recording.
That's like a miracle for me, just so you know. So
Well,
that's
me
well done to you.
too. Me too, because I was thinking, okay, I want to ask her more questions because you just kept coming with the good information. I learned more than in the entire time. I think I've had a business page. My earliest was maybe 2014. I learned
Right.
more in that interview talking to you than I've learned in all the years that I've had business pages. Just
Yeah, it was such a great opportunity to talk to you about it because, there are so many people out there that say they're a waste of time, don't bother with them. And
that
I'm
was
out
what
to
I heard.
change that. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
not alone. I have that conversation on a daily basis of people that say it's all about personal branding. Don't worry about company pages. You don't get the reach. And so for around 8 months now, I've been having conversations with all kinds of people over the world to say, actually, if you're not listening and paying attention and building your company page now, you're missing out. And I look at it, if you've got a strong personal brand and a strong company page, it's that whole synergy effect. It's the 1 + 1 = 3. And that's what I'm saying. Don't let go of your personal branding, but add this to it and just really strengthen your whole positioning. So
And
yeah,
of
it was
course,
so great to talk about it.
I'm dying to ask you, okay, how do we balance our time? But I asked you all that stuff already in the episode, and Michelle breaks it all down, like how you can balance it, the
Yeah,
whole
how do you
social
get
media posting,
consistency? Yeah.
consistency, and how to keep where you find the time or where you find the help for somebody to hint. That's actually a
Here
service you
I am.
offer, isn't it?
Yeah, if you can't get to it to yourself, then outsource it to people like me that can actually help you with it. So, because, ignoring it and hoping that it goes away is not the strategy that I would actually ever recommend, because they're just such an important part of who your business is digitally online and building up social proof for your business just as much as you build it up for yourself.
Hmm. So one of the things that you offer is, and we talked about that in the episode, which
Mm.
seriously, either if you're a podcast listener, go hear it on the She's All That video podcast, or if you'd rather, we've got it here on LinkedIn. No idea what was going on with my hair that day, whatever.
I need a fake tan, I think. I mean, it's winter here. Give me a break. But yeah, and my home
Yes,
haircuts,
and
as I
you're in
said, we're in
lockdown.
lockdown.
Yes, you're in
I know.
lockdown.
So
But one of the things that you do under your company, Good Trading, is also LinkedIn business page audits. Now,
that's right.
I am only mildly terrified to have you look at my business page. I know you already had,
Do
but
it. Do it.
so okay, the one how long usually does an audit take?
A couple of hours, but we're going to do yours in a crash course. So what
Okay.
I have is like a 50-point audit check of company pages. And so what's really important is to understand what people have been doing before we implement strategies about where to go. And so what I do is typically jump onto a company page, have a bit of a dig around and work out, what's going on that, small changes can make big differences in company pages. So we know that an incomplete company page actually leads to 30% less views. So even just by
Oh,
making
what?
sure it's complete, I know, right? So it's hard enough to get, these working properly. So it's attention to details and making sure that everything's completed, which often what happens is when you set up your company page, you go, yeah, I'll get back to that. And then life happens, business happens, and we never quite get back there. And so it can be just little things that can make a big difference.
Okay, so now obviously we're not going to do a 50 pointer here, but just looking
We're
at
not.
mine, are you able to look at a business page this quickly? And hang on a second, let me get rid of this graphic. That's how clumsy is that? Are you able to tell me, just looking at this, what I could be
Yes.
doing to improve it?
Yeah, absolutely. So at a glance,
Yeah.
similar to your profile,
Yeah.
we've got the holy triangle. So the holy triangle that I call is your banner, your logo, and
Mm-hmm.
your headline. Now, in this case, if I take it, because that's the, when people are scrolling, that's what catches our attention,
Mm-hmm.
first up. So I think that there's room for your banner to actually be improved and really sell who you are and what you do, because I know you're amazing. And I feel like this banner was probably done just as a filler that you would get back to, but then everything goes on your personal profile. I know you and I know what's on your personal profile, but I just think it can be really something that could be a lot more personality and attention grabbing. So,
Okay.
that would be one thing that I would do.
Yep.
So
Banner art.
so your logo is your logo, right? That's fine. That's
Yep.
nothing that we touch.
Okay, I have a question. I have my
Yes.
logo because of different places that is websites, social media, et cetera, et cetera. Depending on the
Mm,
background page, I've got white on blue, blue on white. For
mm,
this, in this, obviously, it's blue on a white circle on a white square, which looks like a white square. Would you
yes.
say swap it and put the blue circle with the white on this?
I
Just,
play
or
around
does it
with
matter?
mine all the time. I
You
don't think it really
do.
matters as long. Yeah, I don't ever leave anything on my profiles the same. I like to have something different in case someone's coming back multiple times, just to keep life interesting. Maybe I'm driving a different event, a different, for you, it could be a
Oh,
different episode.
yeah,
You
yeah.
want to, this is like your number one space. That it's like your free promotional space. It's the
Right.
biggest space that you have on your company page, and
Oh,
don't waste it. So you could promote
so
our episode. You could
I've
have, yay, Michelle's
and I've
coming.
got a program coming out in September, so I should have that podcast guesting fast
Absolutely.
track up on the banner of this one.
Yeah, because it
Oh,
shows up when people search. It's, front and center when we have a look
okay,
at the page.
okay,
So for me, think of that as the one place I say it's okay to do some free advertising and make it clear what is it that you offer or what services do you help people with. And, think about creative ways that you can do it that really reflect your business's personality. So
okay, and it's okay
don't
to
make it
change it up
stiff and
frequently.
sorry. Yeah, 100%. Go
Oh,
for it.
okay,
Have some fun
okay,
and play with it.
okay.
Absolutely.
So my banner is a half-assed job. Yes, we knew that. Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, it doesn't
so
have your personality. Like you're a great big personality, and this like feels really little to me. And you're doing
okay,
amazing things with some amazing women on your podcast and other parts of your business. And I just want this to be big and bold and reflect that.
got it. Okay, so that's happening.
Yep,
Don't know when, but
perfect.
soon, 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 soon.
Jump
So
into Canva,
what?
and so
Yes. What else should I
yeah.
be doing? Or what else
So
jumps out at you as being egregious?
look, the next thing that I'm going to jump out to is like your headline's fine. I would leave that. But just underneath, we see that poor little number of 119 followers. And
Uh-huh.
that to me is something that we need to address. And
Okay.
when I have a look behind the scenes on your page, then I don't think you've been using your invite credits to help grow the page. So I'd love to share with people how that they can do that.
You can
And
tell that because it
essentially,
says I have 100 out of 100 available.
exactly. I know.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone. I'm not Einstein. Like it's right there in front of
How does
you.
that
But
even work? So if I use up 100 and then
Yeah, so how it works, and I'm going to give you a couple of strategies. So how it works is that you get 100 credits on the first of the month that you can send out, and I recommend that you do that straight away.
Mm,
Once you send them out, then as people accept them, you will get another credit back again. Okay, so we want to make sure it's
oh,
targeted,
okay.
selective, and people that you actually think, first of all, are going to be interested in what you've got to say.
Okay.
Now, these are only invite credits for people that you're personally connected to. So if you have a large following, that's great. If you have a small following, you're going to have to do some work on the other side to build up your personal profile just as much.
Okay. Right.
So as you send them out, LinkedIn every month is going to show you those three faces on the right-hand side, the same
Okay.
three faces until you press invite.
Just gonna
Resist the
nag you?
temptation.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
Resist the
okay.
temptation to press those three. They
Okay.
look
Oh,
obvious, but
yep.
maybe not. And you know, I don't know these people, but they may, you know, let's assume that
All
they're
nice
actually
people.
not your ideal clients. If
Mhm.
they are, and you go, oh my God, I forgot to invite these guys to follow my page, just click on the invite button and it sends an invite out, which you can't personalize. But again, we're being really targeted with this. So who is going to be most interested in the content that you've got? If you scroll underneath these three people, there's another
Mhm.
little button, which is, so
Invite
if you can
more
just scroll down a little
connections.
bit, invite more connections, absolutely. So if you click on that,
Mhm.
here's where the gold is, okay?
Ooh,
And the gold is the filters.
okay.
So it's really important that if you're only servicing, say, geographically, maybe Canada or Canada and North America, that if that's the only target market that you're after, it
Mhm.
makes sense to have more of those people following the page. So as you can see
So
there, drop down in the locations, type in the region, and that will filter your personal connections that you
okay.
can then go back and send invites. So if you can just do that, choose a location, we'll add the filters in. So just pick any one of those. So yeah, just pick London. And then what's going to happen is we apply the filter and then it's going to bring up a list. And from that list, you can select all, or you could be more targeted again within that and say, I want to choose by industries. And so it might be just people in marketing and advertising. The industries are there for you to choose from. And
Mhm.
again, make sure that you use them. So my background is I come from the cosmetics industry. So I recommend to people, if you're in that space, to make sure that you're, you know, from if you've got a page that's for cosmetics or beauty, that you're
Mhm.
using that filter to marry up those two audiences. So quite often what people do is they just go to the first 100 that they see, send them all out, and then what happens? It's like spam. Think about it. If you don't consider who you're sending it to and target them, it's just spam. It's no different. And that creates a reputation for your business. And we want to make sure, no different to you wouldn't spam people with email, or you shouldn't,
Mhm.
with emails or invites on your personal, don't do it on your company page either.
Right.
So spend a bit of time, because again, more people that accept it, and people only accept company pages if they've really got some kind of level of interest, and we're building a niche following. So I'd be happy if you use those credits and we get up to around 500 to 1,000 people as our target audience. So we don't
500 to
need tens
1,000
of
people.
thousands.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is why it's part of the strategy to get it up. And just in my experience in managing all kinds of company pages and being involved in them, between 500 is where you've got the consistent content that's been going, you've got the invitations going out, your audience is matched to that content. Then what happens is you start to see those opportunities pop up. For you, it might be new guests, it might be more listeners, whichever way that you're going around this. And
People
then,
who
you know,
want to learn how to become a podcast guest and make it
exactly
work for their
whatever.
business.
Exactly. So there's no point sending them to people that you know will never, ever, ever be interested. So that's one thing that a lot
So
of people overlook.
so now everybody says that you're not going to get the same kind of eyeballs on your business stuff as you will on your
True.
personal stuff.
True. I can't argue that point.
Okay. Yeah.
It is a fact of life that, as it stands right now, as we said, the LinkedIn number of users has grown up to 774 million, and we're all fighting over
Wow.
that same news feed. You know, the news
Mhm.
feed hasn't
Mhm.
gotten any bigger, the text hasn't
Mhm.
shrunk, so we're all fighting over it. So LinkedIn gives company pages as like a smaller percentage of that. But what I say to people is, don't think that people aren't out there doing their research on your company. So they might connect with you personally, like you, think that you've got a product or service that they've seen on your personal page. when it comes up to that last little bit where we've got to hand over the money or make that buying decision, we do what we do everywhere in life. Let's check the reviews and see what everyone else is saying. And so what they
Yes.
do is they'll sneakily come across, click from your profile, because your profile is always linked to your company page in the work experience section. And they'll come across and they'll have a little bit of a sticky beak and see if what you've been saying aligns with what your company, kind of stands for. So making sure that you've got something for when they come and do their research. So 70% of the buying decisions done before someone reaches out to you. So you've got to have your ducks in a row and something for them. Now, it may be that you just lead them somewhere else. It might be that you want them to go to your website because you've spent a lot of time to make sure that that's on point. Or it may be that you say, hey, I don't really look after this so much. Come back this way and reach out to me if they happen to find you organically. So it may be that somebody's listened to your podcast episodes, found you on, one of the podcasting platforms, and then comes back to LinkedIn, can't quite remember your name. What was your last name? Although I'm sure your first name probably pops up easily. But with someone like me, my name's so common, right? There's thousands of us. And I go, oh, no, I remember the podcast name. And so if they found the company page first, what would be their impression of you and your business? And so that's why I say to people, just leave like the breadcrumb trail that they can come and find you. You don't have to spend an enormous amount of time. Just, lead them on a trail somewhere. Just don't ignore it, I guess, is the answer.
So one more question about the LinkedIn thing, which just occurred to me.
Sure.
As you said, if you are somebody that has more of your energy going into your website, can your business page kind of reflect your website? Can you make it almost like snippets of it or mirror what's going on over there?
There's two things. I would repurpose where possible. So if you've spent a lot of time to make your website, and keep it up to date, then, make sure you bring some of that content back onto the company page. So people get a taste, because people find you in all kinds of different ways. So if they Google your business name, the LinkedIn company page results are normally on the first page towards the top, because LinkedIn is ranked so highly on those results, right?
Yeah.
So don't forget about that. People pay a lot of money for search engine optimization, forgetting that if you just have a company page on LinkedIn, it will actually show up on the first page for free. So that's another handy tip. So what I find is, though, websites seem to be a set and forget arrangement. So people don't go back and update them very often, whereas your company page can be really dynamic. Like, what's going on in the podcast this week? Who's your guest? What's coming up? What courses do you have? As you said before, you've got one coming up, in the near future. So you can keep that live and ongoing, and really it's a lot more personality and energy in there. So, and then if you want more details, maybe it's back to the website and, using them, that kind of feed to get, the contact us or different other strategies along those lines. So yeah, the two bounce off each other again.
This is what happens. I start talking to you about this stuff and a million questions. I just want to sit.
It was like, this is like our 5-minute chat, wasn't it? And I just realized, I was like, 5-minute chat. It was never going to happen.
No.
But you can see how easily you can make some small changes. And they're the kinds of things, there's obviously more complex things, but some minor tweaks can really make a big difference to the performance of your page. So that's how I help businesses grow.
Well, listen, I think if anybody has gleaned even a small bit of information that has changed their idea about LinkedIn business pages, they definitely have to check out what you dropped on the podcast episode, because that was just gold. It was like this ongoing masterclass.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
So we'll be putting the links to that just down below here as soon as we get up. Michelle, thank you so much for being with me. This was so fun to chat again.
It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to hearing some of the feedback on the podcast episodes. So please make sure you give us a review or drop it in the comments so that we know that we're being added value to, the people that are listening. So that'd be awesome.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Done.